All right, let's talk about Dak Prescott. We saw him again coming back from the injury. The Cowboys seem to be dead after week one. Really look a lot better since then, have looked very good. And, now we're seeing Prescott back. The offense didn't exactly thrive against a rough defense, but there were still some nice things. So let's talk about what happened and really talk about Prescott's performance in general. First, there were just some miscues that kind of stalled it a little bit. I thought something like this, where it's going to be a play action. You have a receiver running over the middle. That's really the route you want to look at. Watch as Prescott's going to run this play action. He's going to roll out towards his left. So a little bit tough, right? Right-handed quarterback rolling out towards his left. A little bit of a difficult throw. But still, I think it's fair to say this is one you hope that you can complete. It's Noah Brown, the receiver, who is open right here. Prescott's throw is going to be maybe just a tad high. Brown isn't able to make the grab. Again, just kind of a miscue, right? Played it, should have worked. 9 out of 10 times you convert on that. This was the 10th time. So some of that stuff you do kind of expect to fix on its own. That's not anything I'm worried about. Going over here, though, there were some errors, I would say, by Prescott. Some plays that could have worked out very poorly that didn't work out too poorly, especially early on. Like, this one's a great example of, this was just a bad decision by Prescott. There's no getting around it. It's cover 2 zone. You have a receiver trying to get into the middle of the field, which, listen, on paper, this route can absolutely work out. There is a little bit of a window over the middle where it can be a completion. We do see teams hit these from time to time, and it can be a great way to get a chunk play against cover 2 zone, which is, notoriously a difficult coverage to get a chunk play against. Look at how when Prescott takes the snap and he, is ready to fire down the field, this is just a tough throw to make. You have both safeties who can read the play. The linebacker has stayed back and covering it nicely. You have some checkdowns if you're Prescott. That feels like that's probably the move. Don't take this chance. It is second down, so, you have some work to do. You have to get to the 35-yard line to get the first down, but still, I'd rather take a check down and have a third and, 13 than to throw an interception and give the Lions the ball in field goal range already. Prescott takes this chance, and it, easily could have been intercepted, possibly should have been intercepted right there. So, got away with one, certainly, by Prescott. So, again, not saying that Prescott sucks, just saying this is what I saw when I watched his tape against the Lions, was some miscues and some mistakes. Not to mention going over here, and some poorly timed sacks can definitely cause some frustration for an offense as you're trying to get into rhythm, but a sack happens at the wrong time, it can kill a drive. And this is going to be an example of that, where you have Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to, he had a great game against the Cowboys, and he's going to make a great play here. Look, as you see, this is just it's a fantastic move. I actually made a whole video talking about Hutchinson and his good performance. So, if you're interested in that, check that out. It's on this channel. But I don't really blame Terrence Steele for giving up that sack too much. It was a good defensive play. Sometimes that happens. But, I think we look at a team like the Lions and say, oh, their defense is so terrible, the Cowboys should have blown them out. Instead, again, they did eventually blow them out, but their offense sort of took a minute to get going, is maybe why some people are concerned, why I have maybe a bit of a negative approach to, negative sounding approach in my voice when talking about this team. But listen, a bad team can have good players who can make good plays and can still stall a, solid offense. Again, the Cowboys offense has been up and down this season. They are kind of a team that really, I don't think they have a ton of explosiveness to their game, so they kind of have to rely on sort of game management style quarterback play, which Cooper Rush did a good job of, and I actually thought Dak Prescott did a good job of. I thought that most of this game, he was a good game manager. Let's go over to this one. A good example of listen, the pros from Dak Prescott were not highlight reel level plays. They weren't. They just weren't. That's not what Dallas was generating. But he was still able to do some nice things to get the ball down the field. Again, I'm talking about this as though it's a negative. They won by a decent amount. This was a pretty comfortable victory by Dallas. Most of that was because of how well their defense played, but still, their offense did do a decent job, and this is an example of what they were able to do. It's a zone coverage play. You have a receiver on the outside running a route that can beat this coverage. So again, this is how Cooper Rush was able to get some stuff down the field. This is how Dak Prescott was able to get some get the ball down the field. Right when this play begins, you are going to see that over here to the outside, there is a bit of a window where Prescott can make this throw. You have a bit of separation right here. So Prescott makes the throw, and they pick up the, a decent chunk play, get a little bit closer to, make an easier field goal and potentially pick up a first down here if you want. It was on first down. Again, a lot of these first down and longs, that was another thing, is some poorly timed penalties and things like that. So they had to get to the 16-yard line here. But hey, now you're at the 25. You're closer, and you can kick a field goal now if you want to. So again, these game management type stuff, it's not the sexiest thing in the world. People will make fun of a quarterback who is just a game manager, quote unquote. But you know what? There's a lot of value in managing the game. Also, let's go over to this play now. Again, it's a very simple play. This was his one touchdown. So his passer rating ended up being pretty good, which, the 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, kind of a funny stat line there. He didn't throw the ball a ton because, again, they ran the ball a lot. That's what the Cowboys do, right? They run the ball and play good defense. They don't need superstar quarterback play to win football games, which is why maybe sometimes their quarterbacks aren't looking like superstars. But the way this play works, it's a goal line scenario where you're going to run a play action, which is definitely going to fool the Detroit Lions. Look at how right when this play begins, Prescott runs a play action, and you see down the field, you are in a situation where you have a player who's just completely wide open. Prescott makes the throw, and they're going to be able to pick up a touchdown. So again, simple stuff, easy stuff, but you're just running the offense effectively, and that's kind of all you need from a quarterback if you're the Dallas Cowboys. With how good their defense is playing, this kind of style will allow you to win a lot of football games. Now, I think it's fair to say if you want to go on a deep run, you might need more from Dak Prescott at a certain point. You might need a quarterback who can be more than just a game manager. But this was kind of the whole, when there was that silly quarterback controversy situation that I think most people brushed off, but not everybody. Some people did believe in the quarterback controversy. And, the argument against that, I think, is because Prescott can still do all of the things that Cooper Rush can do. For the most part, he still can be a guy who can come in and run an offense relatively effectively, but he also just clearly has the higher upside. We've seen Prescott play like an MVP caliber quarterback in small spurts. We haven't seen him do it for a whole season or anything like that, but we've seen him in like a 3-4 game stretch look fantastic, and we've also seen him be kind of this game manager type, which is what we're seeing him look like now. So again, that's kind of my, reiterate my main thoughts on Prescott and the Cowboys offense in general. There's things they do well. I still don't love this receiving core. I just don't think it's a great receiving core. You have some players who can play, certainly. You have pieces. Every receiving core has some pieces. I'm not saying they're the worst in the league or anything like that, but they're certainly not, they're not Cincinnati, right? Like, they're not the top of the league, but they have some guys who can, get open. You have a good running game that can allow you to scheme stuff open, and you also just have a quarterback who can make the right read and make the right play. So I thought that he did that in this Detroit Lions game as well, and I think that the issues were kind of more of a coincidental and fluky than actually them not playing well, and maybe a bit of a chemistry thing with a quarterback coming back from injury. So I think that they're fine. I think the Cowboys look good. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this Dallas Cowboys team? Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.